Joining us is our Health Secretary, Pasha Mukherjee. Pasha, all yours.
I actually think this is a really good plan, and if when I was 18, I think it would be something I would have definitely wanted to sign up to. I do think there's a benefit in terms of getting our young people back into discipline, which I hope, and also having a community orientation and thinking about more than just themselves and thinking about their community, which I do think is lacking in our current generation. However, you did mention that it's about encouraging people to go into work. And as a working professional myself, I don't feel that it is any good working anymore. It's no longer incentivized to work. It's much easier to just go on the dole or go on sick pay because it feels as if you get punished for working because you get punished with taxes. You get punished with having savings. If you save up and buy a property and you want your children to benefit from that, you get punished at every point for actually being sensible with your money in this country. And actually, if I decided to just throw my money away, go on holiday, spend it on drugs, whatever I wanted to, it feels like the government is ready to pander to those people and give them all the support. You're talking about supporting people who are currently already on sick leave back into work. Why not give that support to people who are currently working?
Yes, right. That is a brilliant question. So I'll take it in two parts, if I may. The first part is, what about those who are receiving welfare benefits? What are we doing in that area? What I have introduced is a system whereby if somebody is given support for a period of 12 months, training and so on, and finding jobs, and at the end of that period, there is a job available for them to take, but they turn around and say, do you know what, I don't fancy doing that. Then as far as I'm concerned, their benefits are removed, okay? That is a very dramatic step to take. I would only do it in the case of people who are able to work, have had 12 months worth of support, have a job available and ready to take them, but they're not prepared to take it.
How do you decide who's able to work? I'm originally from India. There are people there who are disabled, who are, who have various different capabilities, and they still find a way to work because they have to. You'll see on the streets now people who have really severe disabilities who are out there trying to sell something they can live in.
We must look after those people, totally. And as a civilised society, a hallmark of a civilised society is how you look after the most disadvantaged, and we must do that, and we will continue to do that. But for those that can work and are just basically not willing to do so after a lot of support, after a period of a year, then I'm afraid, benefits are not appropriate. Now, on the other part of your question, work, what we have done is made it much more incentivised by dropping taxes. And I'll give you two examples. One is we've dropped national insurance, that's the employee charge, which is worth £900 to the average worker in this country.
But we've gone through this.
But the second thing which we didn't mention is the national living wage. That's for the lowest paid workers. That went up last year by about 10%. It's gone up this April by about 10%. That's way above the level of inflation because we want those on the lowest wages to be getting more. So we can create a greater gap, a greater incentive for people to work than to be on welfare.
But you don't want to pay people who are skilled, and skilled workers like doctors, nurses, actually people, you're almost closing that gap between the minimum wage and people maybe in the middle wage scale, but you're not paying them the equivalent value.
So the key to getting wages up, and we've seen real wages on average rising in each of the last 10 months, is greater productivity, the output per worker. And that's where investing in, for example, the area that you're responsible for, the National Health Service, is really important.
Okay, Mel, you could see one thing in the manifesto, the Tory manifesto. What would you want in it? I'll go to you, Pasha.
I would like to see tax rebates for positive financial and health behaviours, because we don't reward people who actually are doing their job well.
Tax breaks for savers, tax breaks for people that are healthy.
Yeah.
That's like a very Tory idea. Are you going to take it back to Rishi today?
I think there's a lot to be said, actually, sort of around that argument, particularly around occupational health and making sure that right upstream, when people start to fall out of the workplace for reasons of ill health, they start in work and then they drift further and further and further away from it until they end up on long-term benefits, and then it's very difficult to get them back into work. So occupational health in the workplace is really important. And there we have consulted, actually, the Treasury did this, on tax incentives for businesses and maybe individuals too, to actually engage with that.